So hello there, welcome everyone, and here we are with the fantastic Tanya Parada, one of our incredible Flash Masters ambassadors. And in this stream, we are going to be discussing how Tanya created these 4 images. And then for those of you who are Flash Masters members, we're then going to be discussing these 4 images in the Flash Masters member zone. So I'll say now, if you do enjoy this stream, please feel free to join us in the Flash Masters community, where we can continue to watch all of these fantastic 8 images that has been taken by the wonderful Tanya. So Tanya, let's have a little start. So before we go to the first image, it would be really great for those of you who don't know much about you, if you could just give us a little bit of an intro to yourself and about your business and really how you got into photography, really.
Yeah, thank you so much for everybody being here. And I really appreciate the comments, the support. It's awesome. Give you a little bit of background. I grew up in Washington State here in the US, and my grandfather thought he would pass on his favorite hobby, photography, to me, since I seem to be so interested in the stories and everything. So he gave me his old 35 Leica film camera.
Wow.
When I was 15. And I just took black and whites forever, and did senior portraits and bugged all my friends. Can you go do a photo shoot with me? And every time I would go somewhere beautiful, I thought, this needs a person in it. And we had a lot of beautiful places. We had mountains, we had lakes, all of it. So it was really, really beautiful to grow up there. And then fast forward 10 years ago, me and my husband got married, and he's from California, from SoCal. And so I moved down here and got in touch with some great photographers who really mentored me and kind of helped me to develop my vision and my style. And I think I'm still developing that. And yeah, it's been really great. The light here is way different than it was in Washington, than it is in Mexico, than it is in Hawaii, than it is in New York. And I think that's really cool and interesting to see diverse photographers from around the world working with what they have under the circumstances they have and coming up with some really creative stuff. So I just applaud you and Neil for your guys' work. I know the weather over there can be tricky, and here we're really blessed with like amazing sunlight. So just saying.
Yeah, we are huge fans of our CTO gels because, golden hour here in the UK, it's a bit of a treat to have naturally. So yeah, usually when other photographers in the UK are like, how did you get that amazing weather? Or was that from this weekend? Like, it was raining where I was. And you go, that's why you need to learn Flash. Because it's a lot of fakery over here.
Yeah, here it's more of like using it as creative accent punches to photos because we have a lot of outdoor venues, but not to say that we don't have indoor venues. I'm shooting a wedding the end of this month that is completely indoors. And I'm not going to lie, as much as I'm comfortable with Flash, I'm feeling a little bit nervous just because it's, all indoor. So we will see how it goes. And I'm excited to hopefully create something interesting, new, and share it with you guys and let you know my struggles and how it went.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing. When you're presented with those challenging situations, that's often when we're able to get the most creative as well. So yeah, fantastic. That's really amazing. And then one more question before we go into sort of looking at some of your images as well, is just a little bit more about sort of why it is that you decided to start using Flash, or how you got more into the Flash side of photography, because you're someone who's obviously a fantastic educator. You're an ambassador for so many incredible brands as well. You're fantastic at using it. Sort of what was your inspiration when you've got all this beautiful golden light?
Really great question. I think that using Flash just allowed me to do something different, right? To do something, to step outside of the comfort zone, to push the creative boundaries. I love natural light. I like all, types, but sometimes in storytelling, I felt if I was going to layer things within a scene, especially, that there was no way I could do it unless I had Flash, or there was no way that I could create a dynamic photo midday, full sun at the beach, unless I had flash, or no way I could slow down shutter speed and create these really cool frozen in time moments without the use of flash. So yeah, I don't think that my work would be the same without it. 100%.
Totally agree. Yeah, just obviously a comment here from Scott. Tanya is the best. I do believe, obviously, you and Scott have known each other for quite some time now.
He really is the best. Yeah, he is amazing.
Oh, it's always amazing when we're doing these live streams, and all these, our ambassadors just mean the world to us, and we're so thankful to have each and every one of you. But it's incredible to see how, you all show up for each other and support each other, and that really is sort of the essence of what we want here as Flashmasters in terms of building just a really supportive community as well. So yeah, I've got no doubt that Scott will be with us right the way through. And I'm also thinking, you actually shot Scott's proposal, I believe, or was it an engagement shoot?
Yeah, he was proposing to his now wife and called me up, and I was in shock that Scott would call me up and want me to photograph his proposal. Not at all nerve-wracking. And we ended up, being able to spend a few hours together, shoot the proposal, and then do some fun creative engagement photos. So, and now they have a little person.
Yes.
So I'm hoping at some point, if he lets me, I will do some family photos for them. That would be amazing. Full circle.
Yes. Shout out to, Scott. Let's get this sorted. Scott's also said that obviously you photographed a proposal and engagement. And he also said that Tanya is way too humble. She crushed it. So, that is like high praise indeed. There's nothing more you'd ever want to hear, I suppose, from another incredible photographer of those words. So, yeah, thank you for joining, Scott. And thank you for the lovely words that are so well deserved. Yes, so thank you. So, let's have we've got one more comment here that looks really, really nice. So, yeah, other than the usual stuff with the quality of light and amazing flash work, Tanya is the queen of posing, like next level stuff. Oh, this is really nice, isn't it? Look at Tanya's face. It's like, what?
Yeah, I'm blushing over here because I feel like that's one area I could really improve on. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you know who actually gave me really good posing advice? Was Daniel Aguilar. And it was one thing he did in his workshop, and he told me, if you put yourself in the position of what you're about to have your bride and groom do or your client do, and you kind of feel it and see how it feels naturally, one, they mirror you, they can see how it works, and then you're also in their shoes to be able to go, okay, this feels weird, this works, this doesn't work. And that was one of the biggest pieces of advice and tips that I've kind of taken on all my shoots. So yeah, just put yourself in their shoes.
I was thinking you're not actually just randomly cuddling, you just take an assistant from somewhere or a member of the public, like, spoon me.
Oh, yeah. And it's super fun when it's another girl, because we're just like, oh, do this, do that. Or if we're posing like a guy, we're like, look really, really chiseled and handsome. And it's just really, it's funny. It can be really funny.
That's a really amazing tip, actually. I've never done that. Or I think there's been a couple of times where I've kind of like trained couples on a bit of a dip and kiss. There's a bit of dance training. But other than that, I've never tried that. And actually, it's a really good tip as well there. So thanks for that. So let's have a little look. I'm just going to turn off that there. Oh, look at me so far. It's all going to go wrong, I'm sure, when I start pressing buttons. But hopefully, any second now, we're going to see our first image, which I know people are so excited to have a bit of information on. Absolutely incredible. This is absolutely beautiful. So I don't even know where to start with this in terms of the lighting on the couple, where the car was. We've got the movement at the front. There's just so much. The more you look at this image, the more I go, my brain is fried. How on earth did you even start to conceive this? So yeah, if you could start, well, any way you like on the deconstruction of this image, because I'm just confused.
Well, don't be confused, because I can guarantee you that most of this is post-edit. I say that because my groom had brought the car to the wedding, and then it stopped working. So we couldn't even move it. Like
Whoa.
once it was at the wedding, it was at the wedding. So it was just kind of stationary, right? Yeah, the post-op is, I'll be honest with this one. This one's not like a freeze motion. That's all post. In terms of the lighting, I'm using 3 lights here because I wanted to carve out the shape of the car and also illuminate the couple. And it was a little bit challenging at first. I think it took me a good 10 minutes to get this set up during reception while they were dancing. Was just trying to figure out where to place it so that it wouldn't be over reflective on a already reflective car.
Yeah.
I had never worked car so reflective before. And so I had to really kind of tweak the placement and the degree of angle of the flash just to get it so it wouldn't look too flashed. So I have one flash on the left-hand side. You can probably see that over by the front of the hood. And then I
Yeah.
have a flash on the right-hand side that's just feathered a little bit to the left, not too much, and a grid to make sure we, don't spill too much light everywhere. Keep that background as dark as possible, which it was up against a, I don't know if you've ever seen those, like the winery doors, like bar type doors. So
Right.
the car was
Yes.
right up there. And so I just feathered the light a little bit more. And then I placed a light inside with a grid and a mag sphere to kind of illuminate their faces. So that's pretty much it in terms of the lighting. And then the rest is post.
Yeah, it's just absolutely stunning. Just the question for obviously there's going to be things that have to be removed there as well. Did you take multiple images here and sort of is it like a composite or just thinking how you had the flash inside the car, but there's no sort of spill within this? I know it was gridded, but you'd think you'd obviously see that light source. Did you just hide it really, really well or?
No, so I played around with it for a little bit, and I found that if I placed the flash far enough away, the one on the right hand side, I would have less spill. So the one on the left is a little bit closer, and the one on the right is further apart. And yes, it's a DeLorean. I was just seeing the comments right now. I'm sorry. Yes, she has. Me and Maurice got to sit inside of it, and it's a really sick car. Yeah, so that's what I did with the lights. I didn't put them too close. So if I tried it close, didn't work, pulled it back, and then feathered it one way, feathered it another way. It took probably 10 minutes to figure out this one.
Incredible. And then in terms of your post processing there as well, just I'm just guessing there's sort of filters or like sort of motion sort of filters applied in Photoshop, or am I guessing incorrectly
Yes,
there?
100%. You're right. And I got this idea from Steven, a friend of mine, who was in the photography community and is absolutely awesome. And I said, I don't know how to do this. You think you could help me? So you create a sphere in Photoshop. And if anyone has questions, feel free to hit me up afterwards and I'll give you the full, I'll help you make the wheels spin. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a motion blur. And I think that's it's in Photoshop.
My mind is blown. There's so often times, or especially in the UK, we don't usually have things as cool as a DeLorean. Most weddings here, I think, have like a fake vintage car that's actually like 2 years old but made to look old. And then you get to the venue, and then the driver's always like, "Do you want a photo with the car?" And you're like, just stand them next to the car, take a photograph, and then you're like, okay, done it, and moved on. So I'm guessing, obviously, with this, being the grooms and being a DeLorean, it meant a little bit more. But to even have the vision to create that is absolutely incredible.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, he's a producer for a sci-fi show here, that my groom. So I knew that was something really important to him, and the DeLorean had a lot of meaning to him and his wife. So I really wanted to nail it. I don't usually use a lot of Photoshop, but in this case, I was like, I really want him to feel sci-fi and like really, throw him through the future. So yeah, played around with it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. And like I said, for all the photos that you see when people ask for a photograph with a car and you do just put them near the bonnet or near a wheel, cuddle in and just go, yeah, okay, got that shot. It's really amazing. Just thinking back to one that I think Ben Connolly did one, or was it Jeff the other week, which they put the couple. No, they photographed and lit the inside of the car and then had the couple outside as well and got sort of the interior side. I feel like this needs to be a challenge in Flashmasters now. Like, let's like really go to town and think of some creative ways to photograph the car because, yeah, I'm so fed up of just, yeah, turning up with the same cars each time going, oh, how do I make this look good? Perfect.
Oh no,
So,
that would
yes.
be a great challenge to have in the group.
I agree. Yeah, we might set that then. Yeah, we definitely need to start doing a few more challenges. So, yes, Ellie says it's very cool, and I would agree. So, yes, we have our second image coming up now. There you go. I just absolutely adore the edit. I adore the moment and the light. And it's really lovely to see not just portraits and how you're able to use, off-camera flash so well, at different parts of the day as well. So, yeah, could you just talk us through, because we don't actually spend a lot of time looking at dance floor photos on these lives, sort of how you approach lighting a dance floor to get something like this?
This is actually not on the dance floor. This is outside for
Oh,
their bubble exit. They wanted to do an exit of some sort, but here in California, some venues have restrictions on sparkler exits. So they thought a bubble exit. And I was a little bit nervous about how that would look because I'd done sparkler exits before, but never bubbles. So I really have to give my husband credit for this, who helped assist me with the flash on voice activated flash
yep.
to the left. So he was kind of following me back as the couple goes down. And really, this couple just had such great energy. Their family, their friends. It was a New Year's Eve wedding. Everyone was excited and stoked, and so I knew the bubbles was a big thing for them. And we just caught them at the right moment, and I'm really grateful that this worked out.
It really did. So when you're sort of shooting outside as well, it's fantastic to see sort of the light not only hitting the couple, but obviously the guests around them. And, everyone else around is also giving you so much in this, in this actual image as well. Obviously you've got all the smiles from everyone around. You can see the happiness there. Are you using any modifiers at all when you're shooting on these, or was it bare flash? Did you have grids or?
Yeah, that's another great question. The sphere is probably what I used for Maurice, because he was already on the dance floor with the sphere, and I try to keep it kind of up and away. If I'm doing something more dramatic lighting, or if he's closer to me, then I might do this signal to him or to my
Ooh.
assistant, which just means grid on, like grid like this. And because we can't hear each other during anything. So grid on or grid off. And that just helps
Oh.
me to let him know like what we need, or sphere, just the sphere. So the sphere was on, I think, and he was to my left, behind me a few steps, and just kind of following. And that kind of helped to spill the light over everybody versus just having it right on the couple, and then that light in the back to just highlight and separate and create some dimension, because it was complete darkness. This was like a winter in December,
Wow.
outside, cold. My bride's very brave, and I just love these two. They're just a magical couple.
Yeah.
So it was really good vibes. I
Fantastic.
really like this shot for their emotion and their energy. It's just, you can tell they're really happy to be married, and that's, yeah, I wanted to capture that.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And I've got one more question. They just keep coming as you're talking. So, obviously, you said that it was pitch dark outside as well. I always try to gauge in case someone's got a new technique. And I'm like, oh, I've not thought of that before. If they're moving quite fast as well, which it does look like there's a lot going on, how did you sort of focus? Do you have any hints or tips for that at all?
Yeah, so I start the focus on them once they are in the middle of the crowd. If I go and I start focus where they're too soon far back, I can kind of get hit and miss. However, I use a Sony, which is great for eye detection, even in low light.
Yeah.
So that with an assist beam flash, so just right on camera control, even if that one doesn't go off, but just so that it kind of pins where the couple's at as they're walking down, that helps a lot. And then you kind of just pray and spray, like for the sparkler exits, you
Yeah.
just kind of hope that you get a couple in there really solid. And yeah, technology's come so far with these cameras that I'm excited that I get more in focus now than I did earlier on in my career. But yeah, sometimes it's pray and spray.
Yeah, we do receive occasional sort of emails through to the Flashmasters account, and just generally, if I'm approached quite often by other photographers wanting information or wanting advice, it's usually like confetti cannons on the dance floor or sparklers. It just seems to be the moments that people are just terrified of. So yeah, when you've got those moments and yeah, the light's working for you, the couple are looking fantastic, and everything sort of just comes together, it does look absolutely amazing. What have we got here? The
So
only way.
can I just something real quick?
Yes.
If there is two people you could follow if you're struggling with sparkler exits, if there's two people you can learn from in this industry, one would be Scott Josuweit, which is the friend everyone knows that we're just talking about. And then the other is Kevin Holding, Kevin and Julia Holding of Holding Co. They do amazing job, and they're like such an inspiration for me. So if you're struggling with exits, whether it's bubble, sparkle, cold sparkler, whatever.
Incredible. We did lose you for a tiny amount of time there, but we've definitely got the main bits there. I'll definitely be following those. So yeah, incredible. Like I said, you did such an amazing job, and I don't think there's anything that's a little bit more scary, because I feel like the couples just such high expectations on sparkler exits and wanting so much without realizing like the technical difficulties of it, especially as well just getting that backlight right or not having it come between them or just hitting the lens too much. So yeah, that was absolutely perfect. So let's have a look if I can get the next image up correctly. If I do, this will be the best that I've ever done so far. Let's see, will the next one appear? As if by magic, I've got 3 images in a row that have all come up at the right time. I feel like I need a round of applause for that. Actually, I'm going to do it. Hey! Oh, wait, I've got many more. So, yeah, I totally forgot I've got all my sound effects. This could get a bit ridiculous. I'll try and behave. So, yeah, Tanya, this one, I am also... Yeah, it's another one where I'm perplexed. I'm scratching my head and wondering just how on earth you've done this. So yeah, take it away, please.
Okay, well, I wanted to answer the question, the two that we missed for the sparkler exit. If you missed it, it's Scott Josuweit.
Yes.
And then it's Kevin Holding.
Kevin
so
Holding.
Please follow both of them. If you need some help in that department, 100,000,000%. This photo is, I have an explanation for it on YouTube for MagMod. So if you want to check out that, it's on YouTube for MagMod. But it was the setting was a bathroom.
What?
It had, yeah, it was a bathroom, like a regular bathroom. It had this really cool frosted glass looking outside, which I kind of at the time when I was using the restroom, I was like, this is kind of creepy that there's a window here, but it was frosted.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, it's okay. I was inside of the restroom. I placed this couple, which are the Hoffers. You can follow them as well. They're amazing. The Hoffers, they went outside and I knew I really wanted to do a silhouette. I put them together. Well, they put themselves together. And then I used a flash behind them, but not pointed at them, pointed at a wall behind them. So there was just like a concrete wall behind them. And I put the flash behind them with a blue gel and a sphere. And then I came back inside and kind of got low, put them within that frame section, and thought I was just going to get just a plain silhouette within that frame. As I'm shooting, though, I'm realizing that there's another frame of them inside of the frame. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, I was like, what is going on? I finally realized that behind me is another bathroom mirror. And so the light was spilling through, reflecting off of the mirror behind me, and then transposing onto their bodies. It was like a unicorn moment. And I feel like I learned a new technique, which I haven't tried again, which I need to try again. But that's Jason Vincent does some cool stuff with some mirrors, reflecting flash and reflecting light and creating shapes and creating, these awesome double reflections that you would think maybe are just in camera. Yeah. So check out his stuff too and play around with that. But I just kind of kept on moving the square around until I got them in that negative space of their belly, which I was like, is that going to be weird that it's in their belly, themselves in the belly? But I was like, that's the only negative space on their bodies that I could transpose it. And so I moved it around a couple times unsuccessfully. And that was finally the last successful one where I didn't crop off any of their heads inside that second one. Happy accident. Yeah, Ellie says happy accident. 100% happy accident. Hope I can happy accident a few more times.
Yeah, I'm still, even though you've explained it really well, it's like, yeah, my mind's just blown by it all. I've never seen anything like that at all. Like, did you have to, I'm just thinking, if you're obviously stood, they're there, and then you're here, and then the reflection's coming from behind, did you have to sort of move yourself to get that reflection in, or?
I got down on my ninja mode, like ninja photographer, did my squat and worked out the hammies, and and then just kind of kept on photographing until I got it right in the section of their stomachs. I'm really proud of that photo. Wow. And I'm not usually proud of my work, but I am proud of that one. And I know it was a happy accident, but I'm proud of it because I think that it's something that I learned.
Yeah.
And something that I want to try again. And who knows what we can come up with next time. But I love learning. And I love when you're, get these things happen and everything lines up and you go, okay, well, that's just, physics on another, or whatever, science on another level. And that's not me, but it's cool to see all of that stuff happen.
It's beyond cool. And I just to see it and to notice it whilst you're shooting as well, because so often when we are taking, a bit more complex photos, or, we're playing and creating, and there's so much to think about on a day to even recognize or notice that reflection's there and then make it work. Just one other question. Sort of roughly, do you remember roughly what f-stop you would have been on for that as well? Because everything just looks really sharp in both of the reflections as well.
Yeah, I took a series of other like different angles and shots, and I was using around like f7.1 because it was so bright out. I wanted to kill a lot of the ambient light.
Yeah.
So I want to say either 5.6 or 7.1 was like all that series of photos in there. I definitely wasn't shooting it like super bokeh or anything, or aperture. Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks so sharp. It almost thinks like you just can't have done this in camera, but obviously you did. Yeah, it's just incredible. I'm still a bit speechless, really. So incredible, really, really incredible. I'm just wondering, I hope you don't mind me asking, I know sort of we've spoken ahead of the stream as well, and I think this might resonate, because I know that it certainly did for sort of both of us today. But yeah, we've spoken previously with Ben Connolly last week, and we were talking about sort of imposter syndrome, and how you feel really proud of that work. But I've got a feeling that you feeling proud of your work, which I know I resonate with as well, isn't something that happens all too often for you.
No, it's hard for me to even say that. Like, it's hard for me to say I'm proud of work, because I think when you're a creative, you always go, I could have done this, or I should have done that, or so and so would have done it better. And you're just running in your head all the time. But at the end of the day, we have to come back to, are we having fun? And is our couple happy about it? Some photos that I've turned over to couples and they're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. I was like, I wasn't even going to include that in your gallery because I thought it sucked. And they really, really love it. And so at the end of the day, if we can serve people and serve our couples, and we can have fun at it and try something new, I think that's really what it's all about, even though a lot of us still struggle with that huge negative cloud of imposter syndrome. But it is nice to know that other people in the industry, even people that have been for years photographing, feel the same way. That makes me feel like I belong to the community, and that we're all learning and we're all trying things. So
Yeah, it's as hard as it is to admit, it's almost really nice to hear. And I know we had that quick discussion before we came on, and yeah, I'm someone at the moment who is struggling so badly, and I don't think a lot of people sort of realize that, or we don't talk about it. We always try to put out our best versions of ourselves online, and I love my job. My job's amazing. Look at these images that I've taken. And on the inside, there can often be totally conflicting sort of messages that you're feeling inside as well. So yeah, thank you so much for sort of admitting and sharing that, because
yeah,
yeah, I think it's something that
I
needs to be
haven't
spoken
posted
about.
social. Like, I've literally had this very difficult time the last, I want to say, 6 months to a year and a half, of like not wanting to post to social media, hating everything that I'm creating, wondering what direction I'm going. So I think we're all burnt out from the crazy year that we had last year, and in our personal lives too. And I think
Yeah.
that it is a good topic to discuss, because then it's, how do we find that joy back again, and how do we get creative with the tools we have? So I think that that's something that a lot of us struggle with, and I'm hoping to keep on pushing through, keep on working with what we've got and see what we come up with.
Yeah, it's very relatable, and I don't think many people had noticed that I haven't. I've literally posted once on Instagram this entire year, and that was just for a wedding fair. And because the venue who was running it gave me a free spot, and they were like, "Oh, please, can you share something online?" You're like, "Well, I'm not paying to be here. The least I can do is make a post," and that is the one and only post I made to Instagram all year. So yeah, I've told a few people about that really, and they're like, seriously, Helen, you're able to put yourself out there in certain ways. But yeah, I felt that sort of, yeah, I suppose burnt out and tired. And I think the moment that Instagram was all about reels and things like that, I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to learn to do that too. So as soon as everyone started on reels, I'm like, oh, do you know what? I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah,
See,
it seems like a lot of people are relating to it in the comments. So maybe that's a discussion we should have more in the photography community, because it is important to, for longevity in your mental health and your work. Like, you just need to have that conversation. Know you're not alone, and push through those limiting, negative comments in your own head. So I feel you, and I like 100% understand. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of people relating here in the comments as well. So, yeah, that's one thing I will say. Ali's mentioned about creating fun projects for ourselves. And maybe that's, one way to really start getting the excitement back. Because, yeah, I will agree. I think that everyone, oh, the majority of us are totally burnt out from doing such a huge amount of weddings that all got, postponed. And yeah, I know that personally. I shot my first wedding in 15 weeks on the weekend, and I was hoping that I would come back all guns blazing and be like, yes. And I must admit, I'm still feeling that little bit of burnout. And yeah, even 15 weeks off doesn't seem to have been quite enough to top me up fully. But if anyone else has any suggestions in the comments in terms of how we get this sort of mojo back and the feeling and the buzz and excitement back, then maybe that's something we can discuss in Flashmasters and have a stream on how we can all hopefully look after ourselves, regain our mojo and our self-belief and confidence as well. Let's have a look. We've got Moira Plante joined us again, everyone. So let's have a look. So when you doubt yourself, just remember the Dunning-Kruger effect. Never heard of it. People with low skills and a certain area of expertise tend to overestimate their abilities. So if you're doubting yourself, it's probably a good sign. Oh, that is a very good point, actually. Yeah, very
Moira's
good.
Just lovely. Moira's a lovely human being, so
she
and an
really
amazing artist.
Yeah, definitely somebody you want on your team.
Yeah, I think it would be good to do some personal projects. I think Ellie's onto something there.
Yeah.
Maybe, can I ask you what projects maybe photography projects that you would want to do, or things that you have, if you had the time and you had the energy, what would be something that you would do? I'm just curious.
Well, I will say when I had my first camera and it wasn't, a career at all, I really enjoyed macro photography and photographing butterflies, which is where my butterfly logo comes from. I love butterflies. I don't know anything about them, or I'm not like someone who studies them and can name them. I just think they're beautiful creatures. So I really, really enjoyed macro photography. So I think that's something that I enjoy for myself. But I don't think I've done any macro work for probably 7 or 8 years. And I don't even own a macro lens anymore, so maybe that's going to be my next thing. What would you personally do?
So I've been seeing the mess around my house from my little daughter's toys here and there. And I start looking at them and I start seeing possibilities to use them in a creative photography way. She's got some interesting little toys that have holes in them or different textures or a light up, or she's got this magnifying glass that she's obsessed with. And I'm wondering, maybe I could do something with this. So I don't know, maybe that'll be my project. In terms of flash projects, I think that might be cool, is using something around the house and seeing what the possibilities are. Because sometimes you show up at a wedding and I think you're formulated in your head, like A plus B equals C. And you think of bringing your lay flat, think of bringing all these little tools and gadgets with you. And you forget that sometimes the best tools are present in the room. You just kind of have to think outside of the box. So maybe I'll try that for my project and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely need someone to help make me accountable. I think, like I said, from the burnout and having so much on, it's so easy to just go, oh, I'm too busy. I could do with someone to give me a kick up the backside and maybe help me start a little project. This has got to be Chuck, anyway, who said, come and live with us in Marbella. It will recharge you. So there you go, Tanya. You've got a little invite to Marbella. And I just know as well that Chuck is an absolute super fan, so he would peck your head the entire time. And he's also offering to bring some moonshine as well. That's all I can say is if you do ever meet Chuck, don't touch his moonshine.
I don't know.
Oh, Chuck, there you go. This could be it.
Yeah, that might be challenge accepted, Chuck.
So we've also got a comment on that your ring shots are awesome. So I'm hoping. I don't think I've done any ring shots for a long time. So I definitely need to have a little look.
Yeah, I don't think I've done ring shots either. So maybe that's another project. We'll do a combined girl project with the rings and see what comes up.
Let's see exactly. Let's see what we come up with. He's replying to Ellie. Oh, sorry, I can't see everything that's going on. Sorry, all these comments, I'm a bit confused.
Ellie, I was going to say, she mentioned that she practices with rings all the time. So Susan Stripling's really good at that too. I love her macro work for ring shots. Is really cool.
I need to have a little look. I have been watching. I think she's been sharing quite a bit more online at the moment with themes as well, which has been really lovely to see. So yeah, I'll definitely have a good look at that one. So if we're ready, we're going to go to our fourth image, which is our last one for YouTube. Let's see if I can get this right. We have another double couple with lights. It's just another, I need mind blown emoji as well. I've just never ever shot anything like this. And, when I see as many flash shots as I do that come through the Flashmasters entries, and we don't see anything like this. So I've got a feeling that a lot of people will want to know exactly how you did this one.
Oh, I think this was another lucky shot.
You can't have this many lucky shots.
I think I really like using backlight, right? And I think that's a tried and true. It's easy, end of the night shot, something romantic, blah, 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 blah. Let's use a flash behind the couple, carve them out, make a nice little silhouette, have the reflection on the face, all of that, right? Romantic stuff. But my couple really had asked for a specific shot. And I am very much a people pleaser, especially when it comes to my clients. I just want them to feel heard and seen and have a great experience. But I knew I couldn't recreate what they wanted for that day. We were at a venue that it was impossible to do that. And so I was trying to think, what can we do? Okay, let's backlight them. All right, cool. But they had, again, glass, something reflective, right, behind them. And so when I put the flash behind them, it again transposed them onto the glass. Then my awesome second shooter, Karsten, who was, seeing all the kiddos and the adults playing around with these LED light wands inside during reception, he said, maybe we could do something with this. And I thought, okay, let's try this. Let's see what we can come up with. And so I put it in front of the lens and backlit them, the couple, and moved that around. It changed colors in between, and it was a really cool effect. And I shot this very shallow to get those bokeh balls in there. I also tried shooting it really high f-stop, and it looked kind of whatever. So I played around with it for a little bit, and came up with 4 different colors. I have a red one, I have a green one, which the green one is not a good one to send to your couples. I don't know why. That one just didn't work. So blue and red seemed to be the favorite ones, and I kept that in their portfolio. Yeah, it was fun. So you can get them on Amazon for, I want to say like $6, and you can just put them in your case. And if you have a really crazy venue that's small and you don't know what to do and you want to do a nighttime thing, that's easy go-to. Just put a flash behind them, wave that thing in front of your lens, and shoot away and see what you come up with.
Incredible. Would you be able to remember roughly sort of what shutter speed you were on? Because it looks like there's a little bit of movement in the foreground.
Yeah, it was probably 1/125th second shutter speed, or 1/160th shutter speed, 2.8 or less, maybe 2.0. And then the light in the background was probably at a 16th power or 32nd power, and
Perfect.
Point it up.
It's incredible. Also, it looks sort of quite nice and warm. Was there a gel put on that at all, like a half CTO or anything to warm that up a little?
Yeah, I put a half CTO on the back. You really know what's going on. I like this, Helen. I feel like I can show you an image, really deconstruct it and be like, oh yeah, the light was there and this was that and that.
It is incredible.
Awesome.
I'm still scratching my head here because, like I said, I have never got anything like this as well. Is there anything you really need to think about with regarding your light placement when you have that kind of second reflection? Or is it just sort of nice and low so it's out of shot? Because I'm just, or did you grid it? Because I'm thinking, will it not go back and hit the mirror again? It just feels like technically there's just still a lot of like, I don't know how you did it still.
The easiest thing is to start low. So have your tripod, your light stand, your light stand behind them low, pointed up towards either their shoulder or their head. Because oftentimes if the couple is not close enough, you'll get a kind of a light bleed through their body. That's really unattractive. We have a name for it, but I will not say it online. And then, and another thing that I often see and that I often do on accident is have the flash up too high by their shoulder. And then you get kind of this big bulge of light on their shoulder or on their chin. So down low at their hips, pointed up towards their head. But the easiest thing to do is if you have an assistant, especially when you're dealing with a tight space and you just need to not have to run back and forth to your light stand, fix it, run back, check it out, fix it, back and forth. Just yell at your awesome assistant to, hey, lower it, or hey, point it up to their head, do this, hey, do that, put a grid. And when you have an awesome team like that, my assistant was Christopher for the day. And when you have an awesome team like that, it's so much easier to just get stuff done quickly, because they want to go back to partying and dancing on the dance floor. And I don't like to keep any of my couples for longer than 5 minutes. So I set up the shot. I run, grab them on the dance floor, say, hey, we've got this really cool shot. It won't take more than 5 minutes. Your family, friends won't even notice you're gone. It'll be a great nighttime ending shot. It may be horrible. Do you want to try it? And usually they're like, yeah, let's try it. And I showed her the back of the camera afterwards, and she was like, Tanya, this was better than the shot that I had asked or envisioned or asked you that I really wanted. And I was like, oh, okay, my job is done.
Yes. And it's just fantastic to see. Sorry, I interrupted you there. No, I just wanted to say, that is such an impactful image. And like I said, I know that there's a lot of us on this stream who, are very competent at using Flash and use, creating images using Flash, who are still like, that's so clever. And in reality, am I thinking it's just the one light that was behind them? There's no front light on them at all. Just one light and one basically children's toy that's £6 off Amazon.
Yep.
Wow. This is where everyone's like, right, I give up. Or every time we're doing a stream recently, it feels like everyone's like, oh, I need to buy this, I need to buy that. So we're all just spending money. So I think last one might have been bubble guns, and now everyone's going to be buying these LED light ones now instead. So yeah, if anyone can find any links for some on Amazon that they want to put in the chat, then yeah, please do that as well. So yeah, somebody else saying it could, obviously this is a really good image. It can be done indoors and work anywhere. So yeah, it's definitely one of those images that when you don't necessarily have a lot going on, really you just need a mirror. If you could just shoot with one lens, what lens would it be?
The 35 all day, every day. Yes, obsessed with the 35. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I shot for 2 years only using the 35. I had no other lens.
What?
And I shot entire lanes on just 35s. Yeah.
Wow.
My details were not great, but it really helped me to clean up my compositions and to move my body and get into the story. And then I, decide, oh, I got this down. Let's try all these other lenses. And I rarely use the other lenses. I use 50s for the 50 for details and for some portraits now, just because my style's kind of going that way a little bit more. But the 85 I'll use, for compression or portraits. The 16 to 35 I'll only use on a dance floor, and that's it. I don't have any other lenses. I just use those, and I try to keep it, as basic. But if I could live with one lens on anybody, anytime, 35 all day. Yeah.
Incredible. It really just says a lot as well that you're able to, like I said, such basic equipment, things that aren't actually complicated to use, and yet you're creating such impactful images that have got us all scratching our heads. Is just a huge testament to your creativity. So yeah, just you're so incredibly talented. Incredibly
thank you.
talented.
It's just, I don't know, it's just trial and error. Like there's nothing, I'm not doing anything that's like out of the ordinary. I'm just
I
trying something and
disagree.
hoping that, and, then tweaking it. I really liked, I think it was a two-man. I don't know if it was Erica or if it was Lanny who said I did TMU, two-man university 2 years ago, and that was incredible.
Me too.
And it was so good.
Loved it.
And they said just to take the shot, and then I think he said season it, to taste, right?
Yes.
So add a little bit more of this or add a little bit more of that, and like just little season it up here and there. And you can even tell your couple that if you're kind of scrambling, go with the basic and then say, hey, I'm really trying to season this photo up, or taste the soup, I think is what Lanny said, and it works.
Amazing. No, Tanya, thank you so much for talking through those 4 images. Like I said, I'm still absolutely mind blown what you've created. Some of those, literally just one light, is out of this world incredible. So thank you so much. So for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you really enjoyed the stream. Those of you who are with our Facebook members group, please don't go anywhere. We are going to continue to see how Tanya created these 4 images. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. And if you'd like to join the Flashmasters community, please feel free to head on over to flashmasters.co. There you can sign up, join the community, and we also have hours and hours of incredible interviews with so many of our ambassadors doing exactly this, showing you exactly how we created some of the world's best off-camera flash portraits, and it's all there ready and waiting for you. So thank you so much for joining us, and now let's move over to the Flashmasters members group. Thank you.